B-Bad and Brandon.
What was it? Sometimes the other dude trains out of Coco's gym on the coast.
Oh, yeah. Coco's a sick gym.
Yeah.
That's one I want to go and train at.
Yeah,
Well,
they
we
were
should
like,
go and do a podcast there with Coco.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
we should
should
get
do.
Coco on, eh?
That was actually a really good idea then. We're recording.
I'll
too.
write that down.
Write that down.
And we're recording.
Yeah, we don't like to tell people when they're recording. We just kind of
see what we can catch.
yeah, catch the good stuff.
It's super.
literally.
I think we did. What's our PB? Maybe 15 minutes in before we told them we were recording.
The one with Thomas.
Yeah, talking about eating other people's food off their plate.
They
Oh,
just
really?
Yeah.
They
Would
just
you,
evolved.
would you find it strange
Yeah.
if we went out to dinner, the
Hmm.
three of us, and
no,
then
it's not strange.
no, that'd be like quite nice actually.
Yeah.
And then we order some food.
Yeah.
Maybe we order it or we haven't ordered it yet. But next to us is a table with half-eaten food, and I started eating that food.
Yeah, it's weird.
That's exactly how
That's
I thought.
straight weird. You know, especially with like COVID going around, who knows what that dude's got? Or
Yeah,
girl's
it was-
got.
Yeah, no.
That's weird.
Our boy, shout out Thomas. He thought it was fine, and to do that multiple occasions.
Multiple.
And then all the stories you heard afterwards of people being like, "Yeah, I've been out to dinner and watched them do that." And you're like,
Really?
"Cool."
Yeah.
That's like, but I wonder what he's like stealing. He's got to be something good. Like if it's a good bit of like eye fillet or some real nice barbecue ribs, you'd be like, I can see how his mind's think. But if it's like a few chips and a bit of garlic bread, you're like, dude,
I think he's.
What?
I think he, from what I hear, he's open to all.
open all.
Yeah,
man, that's
including a half-eaten burger. He will
Just pull
eat.
that mic a bit closer.
Yep.
A bit more. There you go.
Yep.
There. Now you're crystal clear.
Yeah,
Alright.
he will eat the burgers.
half-eaten burger.
That's rank.
That's break. I couldn't do that. I wouldn't do it anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to. I struggle to eat at restaurants anyway, just with my whole current situation for the rest of my life. I got to eat like a pregnant woman.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Whoa. I
part?
feel. Yeah.
that's we've just
I feel like before we jump ahead, there needs to be a bit more context.
yeah. So I'm not a male that is pregnant. No, let's put that out there.
Yeah.
This isn't that podcast.
Yep.
So no, so I back 2014 and prior to that, I was a fit, healthy young man.
Do you have an accent, real quick?
I do, yeah. So back in 2000, so 1990, I was born in 1997. I'm 23 years old. And
How old do you feel right now?
A lot older than being born in '97. I was in grade 10.
grade 10, that was 2012 for me.
Fuck you.
That's not too. I did in the gym recently. I saw my grade 10 biology teacher, and he's a big bodybuilder dude. And I was like, "Hi, sir, how are you?" And he's like, "Yeah, good, man. I haven't seen you in a while." I'm like, yeah. So it's been over like 10 years since you taught me, almost 10 years. And he's like, "Way to make me feel old." And he just walks off. It just ruined his day.
Yeah.
So I'm like, "Oh, that's good." But yeah, so in 2004, my family and I, we moved here from the UK. We moved to the Gold Coast, and we've stayed there ever since.
Yep.
I attended Helensvale High.
Yep.
I graduated with an OP5 and direct entry into Griffith University, studying a double degree of law and international business.
Wow.
I was playing a very high level of soccer up in Brisbane. I was playing for Logan Home in the Brisbane Premier League, looking to branch out into the National Premier League. I was training with Jason Kitten, the Brisbane Royal goalkeeping coach at the time. And I'd say 3 months after turning 18, on October 13th, I was diagnosed with cancer. I was diagnosed with a Hodgkin's lymphoma. It was the largest tumor they've ever found in someone at the Gold Coast University Hospital, a solid mass. It was 20 centimeters across and 10 centimeters thick in my chest.
Jesus.
Yeah, it pushed my heart to my back, like into my back, and the main mass was it's sort of inflated soccer ball. In
Did
my
this
chest.
develop quite quickly, or was there prior symptoms?
There was definitely prior symptoms. So probably 3 to 4 months prior, I started to develop traditional cancer symptoms. So rapid weight loss, night sweats, really bad itchy skin around my lymph nodes. So your groin, under your armpits, also around my ankles as well. So I'd scratch myself so much that I'd make myself bleed.
Oh, Jesus.
And not really knowing what was going on, just thinking, oh, this is just maybe
Fucking itchy.
Yeah, exactly. I changed my clothes, tried different detergents, towels, shampoos. Nothing really thought of it. Night sweats as well were very, very weird. So in the middle of June, and you imagine you've got blankets on, you've got jumpers on in bed, I was waking up in a silhouette of my own sweat. And, that's not good. So like, what is
Fuck.
going on here? And, you know, being like a almost semi-professional athlete, training 5 days a week, playing on the weekend as well, tracked everything I ate. My fitness power was like on point. And I'm like, I'm losing weight. You know, the numbers
That's not
don't,
right.
this doesn't add up. Okay. I started then to become really, really fatigued, like chronic fatigue, where I couldn't walk from, you know, my bedroom downstairs to the couch without being severely out of breath. And I'm like, well, this isn't just not doing cardio. This is, something's not right here. So I went to the GP and he's like, look, let's do some blood tests and see what they come back as. And he sort of looked at it really, really puzzled and went, these numbers do not seem right. We're going to send you to a hematologist. So I went to a private hematologist and they sort of saw the bloods, did a follow-up test, did a CT scan on that morning. And then in the afternoon, I was in hospital diagnosed.
Fuck.
So
That's a hell of
very,
a phone
very,
call.
very quick,
Yeah.
everything that happened. And it was a rough time in my family's life as well. So a week and a half prior to that, my grandmother passed away in the UK.
Ugh.
So my mum got an emergency passport and left.
Yeah.
So she's the sort of glue that holds my family together. So there's my dad, my younger brother and younger sister, and we've just faced this news. You know, your grandma's just died. A week later, oh, your son's got cancer. And so it's like,
fucking
Was
hell.
your mum back in the country?
no, she wasn't. She actually met with the priest that morning to go through the funeral arrangements in the morning, then got back to her father's house and sort of went, you know what, we should have for lunch, and got a phone call and said, Dad just blurted out, Elliot's got cancer, and she just collapsed on the floor. And
Jesus.
Fuck.
yeah, and that was when, you know, my life changed forever. Yeah,
Yeah.
at 18
How old
years
are you?
old.
18 years
18.
old.
So I was only 18
Jesus.
for 3 months, and the symptoms I had prior sort of stopped me from doing traditional 18-year-old stuff,
Yeah,
going
yeah.
out. And, you know, I live on the Gold Coast, so Service Paradise is like,
GC.
it's, yeah,
The
yeah.
GC
It's
life, baby.
It is. I never actually had to, I never got to experience
Yeah.
that side of things at 18. And it was yeah, my life changed forever. I had to develop from being a teenager to being a man in the space of
A day.
one conversation.
Fucking conversation.
One conversation. It was right. This is it. It's fight or flight from right now.
Damn.
So,
What was the next step?
so we did test after test for about 3 days to sort of see what it was. Everything, X-rays, blood tests, CT scans, PET scans. And they found this mass. I'll show you a picture of it. There's this mass in my chest, and it was huge. And they turned around and said, right, we need a biopsy, see what it is, see if it's dead, see what's going on. And they pretty much turned around and said, yep, this is cancerous. You've got days. If that. There was a piece
That's
of
what
it.
they said.
Yeah. You've
Days
got
to live.
days to live. They said, we're surprised you're not, they said, we're surprised you're not dead already. Straight up. They said, if you weren't so fit and took care of yourself, you would have been dead weeks and weeks and weeks ago.
So this was the Hodgkin's lymphoma.
It was, yes.
Fuck.
So
yeah.
now I'm just gonna forgive me
Go
for
for it.
asking the obvious question.
Yeah.
Why are you still here?
You're a
That is,
fucking weapon.
it's a long, long story. That's just the tip of the iceberg, to be honest. That is just the opening chapter. We haven't even got to any sort of big things just yet.
This is already peaking, and I'm already on the edge.
Oh, no. I've got hours worth of content of, you know, not only cancer stuff, but also a lot of things with the side effects from it. But the cancer journey, so I started a treatment called Beer Cop.
Yeah.
And it's a German regime.
What was it? Sorry.
Beer Cop. So stands for a bunch of different chemotherapies like Bleomycin, etoposide,
right.
that sort of thing.
Yep.
Classic
And-
German name, beer cop.
Yeah, pretty
Sounds
much. Yeah.
very German.
Yeah, very much German.
You're
and
having the beer cup.
yes, pretty much. And in traditional style of what Germans are, they are very straightforward, tell you how it is. And this was the harshest chemotherapy that you could pretty much get.
Yep.
They said, we can't do surgery on your mass because it's inside your rib cage, you die. So the only option is treatment, so chemotherapy. So we started that.
And it's aggressive.
Very, very aggressive, probably the harshest chemotherapy that you could have. They said
Yeah.
if you were a 25-year-old smoker or drinker, you'd die from it. You wouldn't be able to handle it. He said, not too many people have this sort of regime because it is so toxic, but your tumor is so large. And they were very, very scared about, a part of it was sitting in my neck and it was pushing on the main artery from my brain to my heart. So they said, if that goes over, dead. And it was,
Just an important artery.
yep, just you're dead on the spot. So that was something they were very, very concerned about. So they said, right, we've got to start this treatment
Holy
like now. And as as an 18-year-old, you're thinking, cancer, what? It goes through your head. You
Yeah,
think, well,
yeah.
I'm not old. That's
Yeah.
an old person's disease, cancer.
Yeah.
I don't smoke. No, I
Yeah.
don't drink. I
You're
don't
healthy.
do drugs. I'm completely healthy and I get cancer.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there going like, someone's just dealt me the worst set of cards.
Yeah.
But the time wasn't to fold. It was time, we got to play. We've got to bluff this.
Yeah.
We've just got pocket twos and we've got to seriously pretend it's aces.
Yeah.
And that was the mindset we went in with. Doesn't matter what hand you dealt with, we're going to do this. So after the first lot of treatment, after the first cycle, so there's 6 cycles of the treatment.
Yeah.
Each
How
go
long does
for
that take
3
for?
weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks per cycle, so about 5 months, five and
Yeah.
a half months. And after the first cycle of chemotherapy, they give you an injection called GCSF injections, so they're to boost your bone marrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dose they gave me, my body just took to it like duck to water, and my bones started expanding.
Wow.
Like I had horrific bone pain, and they said, "Oh, side effects. Normally, you get a bit of bone pain. Take some Panadol, you'd be sweet." I was hospitalized on morphine for about a week.
That's a bit of bone pain.
Bit of bone pain. I grew a centimeter.
Really?
Yeah, straight up. I'm taking that. I'm I'm not 6'1". I'm 6'1.5". Screw it.
That's
And
a nice bonus.
That's not too bad. And so we finished that regime, and one day I'm sitting at home and I'm going to mum. I'm like, if I cover my left eye, or sorry, cover my right eye, I can't see you. And she's like, yeah, stop being an idiot. No, seriously, I can't see you. And so, okay, that's not good. We'll go in, we'll see what's going on. Went into the hospital and they were like, okay, we're looking at, yep. Okay, sweet. You've got shingles and meningitis in your eye. I'm like,
in your fucking
okay.
eyeball.
Okay. What we should do is we're going to do a MRI on your brain just to see if it's anywhere else.
Yeah.
Yep, you've got shingles and meningitis in your brain.
What?
And then they did a thing called a lumbar punch. So they look at your spinal fluid.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's in there as well. So I thought, well, that's not good. The obvious question is not really being, I'm not a doctor. I haven't gone to med school or anything. Is that normal? They said, well, here's the thing. You get a list of possible side effects. And these are ones you will get: headaches, nausea, lose your hair.
Yeah.
Sweet. These are ones you might get. And you're like, okay, 1 in 10 get that.
Yeah.
1 in 100 get this. 1 in a million get that. This one was never been recorded before.
Oh, get
So there
fucked.
wasn't even okay, this happened one time back in the day. There's one bit of literature on it. We're going to do that. This was just like,
You're now the literature.
you are now a guinea pig. We do not know what you're going to do. You've got, again, 24 hours till you're dead.
Oh, what?
Oh, yeah. This is going to be a recurring theme throughout the podcast as well. So my doctors, they're sitting there going like, what's going on? We do not know how to get rid of this. So immediate treatment was started. And to say I'm lucky in the least that my uncle in the UK is the head nurse for hematology oncology for the whole of Europe. He's the chairman for it. And he's the head of the whole division of bone marrow transplant at the Christie's Hospital in Manchester.
Yeah.
So he's a very, very smart guy to have on
Yeah.
hand. We've contacted him and said, what do we do? And he's gone, oh my God, this is completely bonkers. We need to have this drug. We need to do this, that, and the other. My doctor's sitting there going like, and my doctors are probably one of the best in the country.
Yeah.
They're sitting there going, okay, we don't know what that is, but we're going to trust you and we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Did that, and I got over it. And they're sitting there going, oh, bloody hell, kid, have you done that? I said, don't know, but we've got through it. We did another follow-up scan 3 months later, and they found that the mass had shrunk from the size of that soccer ball down to about a golf ball.
That's good.
So that's good. And I told them, well, is that a good thing? And they said, well, normally if we're concerned about a big sort of tumor is as the size of a golf ball or a tennis ball. And your big ones come down to what we consider now as big. And I'm just like, yeah, exactly. So you sort of starting well behind the 8 ball to sort of get there. So the decisions were sort of thinking, okay, what we're going to do now. The harshest sort of thing has not worked. Pretty much. So we start, okay, you can start radiation.
Yep.
And to radiate where my tumor was is very dangerous. Then they did another follow-up scan just before we started radiating and found that he'd had appeared 3 little nodules on the top of my left lung. So we had to radiate that as well. And I'm like, great, it's bloody spreading.
Yeah.
So this isn't good.
Dead.
So I didn't have what they say lung cancer. I had cancer on the lung, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So we radiated that area. And we radiated the mass. Now, with radiation, if you can imagine, you're practically nuking your body. So
Jesus
all the
Christ.
area around it is going to be exposed to the toxicity.
Yeah.
So my lungs can be definitely exposed to it. My heart, your kidneys, your your skin, your muscles, everything's sort of going to be affected by it.
Jesus.
So
Jeez, you must feel like shit when that's happening.
you do. Oh, you definitely you do. The whole thing. You are. The best way to describe chemotherapy is: have you ever seen Harry Potter?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you ever remember on the third one, the Prisoner of Azkaban, the Dementors
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
sort of suck your face. It's practically like that because
Ugh.
it's not like you're getting punched.
That's
You're not.
a really good analogy. by the way.
Yeah,
well played.
you're not really going for 12 rounds with Mike Tyson in his
Yeah.
day because that's a punch to the face. This is your insides just dying. It's a different sort of pain. It's a different beast you're fighting against because you
Yeah.
do feel so tired. You're throwing up all the time. You've either got diarrhea or you're constipated. One of the two. You can't eat, you can't sleep. You're constantly just in a state of just nothing.
Yeah.
You just exist. And that's the physical side of it.
Yeah.
The mental health side of it as well is
That'd be
huge.
massive.
So jumping back into the story, we finished the radiation in that area and they did another scan. And so I said, yep, still there. We're like,
Fuck.
great. Now what? It's like, okay, we're going to try a couple of different chemotherapies, like fast acting sort of ones to see if they can work. They didn't work. So they said, right.
You're literally an experiment at this point in time.
Yeah, pretty much they said, we don't really know what to do next. How to think, they sort of said, right, the next line of thinking is a thing called a stem cell transplant.
Yep.
They said you can either have two options. You can have the treatment and it might kill you. Or we can give you 9 months. You can go get a loan from the bank and live your life. Go do what you want for 9 months. And I sort of said, I was kind of insulted by that. I said, you think that little of me, that I'm going to quit and say, nah, screw it. I'm going to let this beat me.
Yeah.
I'm like, no way.
Let's
No way.
all in.
I'm already in pain. I'm already hurt. I'm going to get a reward from this.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the very best and beat it because that's what I've done all my life.
Yeah.
At school, I was never the smartest, but I did the work.
Yeah.
At football, I was never the best, but I did the work. Any room I walk into, I want to be that hardest worker in the room.
Yeah.
Just like, the likes of The Rock, the likes of Eric Thomas, who's a
Yeah.
motivational speaker, LeBron James, Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi. Those guys they don't quit.
Yep.
You want to be, that's what I want to do. So I said, screw it, let's do it. We're going to do it. In traditional Elliot style, now it's a term at the Gold Coast University Hospital called doing an Elliot, because whatever is meant to happen here, I go and take the ball and I throw it over there and say, you got to catch that. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, okay, we're going to have to sort of deal with this. So I start the stem cell transplant. And so practically what it is, if you're not aware of what a stem cell transplant is, you take your stem cells out. So I had an auto cell, so my own cells. You can either have with your cells or with someone else's.
Yeah.
And usually if you have it with someone else's, because your bone marrow is compromised by the disease. So I had my own, which is a lot safer.
Yep.
So they take your stem cells out, freeze them, leave them, and then you start chemotherapy. So normal chemotherapy that you have leaves you just enough of your own cells to repair themselves and get ready to go again. This type of chemotherapy completely depletes them.
Really?
Destroys them without any hesitation, without any sort of thought or whatever. And they're dead. So then you have to have your own cells put back into you to start recovering. And it's a very, very dangerous process, very risky. So many different things can happen where, you're having this treatment. Not only is it very, very toxic, very harsh on your body, because you've got then no immune system. You've got nothing protecting you. Someone comes in with a cold that can kill you. You've got no antibodies.
Yeah.
Someone comes in and you get up and you trip and you bang your elbow. You're going to bruise and you're going to smash your elbow in half. Your body's got nothing in it to protect itself. You smack your head and you have bleeding on your brain.
That's
you're dead.
it.
There's so many risks. You are legit wrapped up in cotton wool for this whole process.
How long does that take?
Depending on the regime you have, usually about 3 to 6 weeks, depending on how well you go.
Yeah.
So they start with I was on day -7.
Yep.
So you have your 7 days worth of treatment, then day 0 you have your cells, then you usually stay in hospital about 3 to 4 weeks, depending how well you go to
Yeah.
recover. But oh no, me on day -4, I start to get this rash.
Oh, good.
And I'm thinking, going, well, I've had shingles before. This doesn't look like shingles. And this thing's spreading like quick.
Ugh,
And we're like, Then all of a sudden, I've got a temperature of 38 to 40 degrees.
that's getting a bit much.
It's a little bit hot.
Yeah.
You know, so they definitely don't recommend, you go above 37, it's like you're going to hospital. This is sitting at 38 to 40. So like, well, he's cooking himself right now. And he's got this rash all over him. And every doctor from hematology, oncology, the infectious diseases all coming in going, what is this kid got? They biopsy, they cut parts of it out, and they're like, we don't know what this big pustule rash is. So to put it in perspective, I look like Deadpool without the mask on.
Yeah.
So it was just your whole body was just a big yellow pimple, and like an avocado sat out in the sun for way too long. It was a way one of my friends described me. He's like, dude, you look like a real gone wrong avocado. I'm like, cheers, mate, love you too. As friends are, they're lovely people. And again, I was given 24 hours. You're going to cook yourself to death. We didn't know what to do.
Fuck.
So
There's your next 24-hour one.
There's another one. And then we phoned my uncle and said, we don't know what this is. What can you do? He talked to his professors. Now, his professors he has are like gods in the cancer world.
Yeah.
My hematologist, Dr. Tara Cochran, I've put that lady through so much hell and so many sleepless nights. I owe her my life.
Yeah.
And when we talked to all my uncle's colleagues, blah, 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 it was like I was talking to a 12-year-old girl back in 2012 about One Direction. He's like, oh yeah, he knows Harry Styles, he knows Zayn and that lot. And he's like, her eyes just lit up and went, you know them? Oh my God. He's like, yeah, I got a rhubarb for him at Christmas. Oh my God. Oh, I saw him at this conference. It was amazing. And we're sitting there going like, wow, okay. Sort of puts into perspective how sort of high up my uncle is. And we phoned him and said, we don't know what to do. And he sat my mum and dad down and said, look, we don't get a drug that I recommend in the next 12 hours, he will die. Thankfully, that drug was nowhere in the hospital, nowhere in Queensland, and it was freighted overnight, I think, from Adelaide. And it got there, some driver drove that real quick. So thank God for him or her.
Fuck.
So we got that in, got the drug in. 2 days later, my mum and the doctors all walk in, they haven't slept. My mum's probably had like 2 hours sleep in the last 2 days, and they walk into my bedroom in the hospital. And there I am playing my guitar going, you all right, anyone? Can I play any requests? And they've all just gone, what? You were dead 2 days ago. I'm like, yeah, I'm fine now.
That was yesterday.
That was yesterday. I'm good now. Come on. What do you want me to play? And I've gone, we don't know if to kill you now or to like kiss you and hug you. We don't know what to do. We slap you or kiss you. In the end, it just gets me. Yeah, that's how weird my body works. So then we completed the follow-up stem cell transplant in the new year, and then started a chemotherapy drug called brentuximab, and that is a really, really cool drug. So the way you can describe chemotherapy at the start of the journey to where it is now is I had this such big mass, and you're sitting there going, well, we can't go in with snipers and kill this. If you imagine a country is infested with the enemy. You want to go into Afghanistan, you've got the Taliban everywhere. You can't just go in with a couple of dudes with some snipers and expect to take them all out. You got to go in and use your bombers. So that's what we did. We bombed it, constant bombs. We nuked it, we bombed it, everything. It's like, right, we've cleared the main lot. Now we're going to go into the villages, put soldiers on the ground. Yeah. So the stem cell transplant and everything like that was the bombing. Now it's like, well, now we've got soldiers on the ground with the brentuximab. And what it can do, it recognizes a cell called CD30 that lives in Hodgkin's lymphoma, and it lives in your peripheral nerves in your body. That's it. So it can go around and like pretty much like a sniper and go, nah, you're good, you're bad, bang. You're good, you're good, now you're good, bang. So it did that, and it cleared the rest of it out. It took about, I think, nearly a year to do that. But one of the side effects was peripheral neuropathy. So my hands were sort of like claws.
Oh, wow.
For about probably 3-4 months. So I couldn't open a can of Coke. I couldn't write. I couldn't hold a piece of paper between my fingers. So they were just completely numb. And then wastage of my arms, wastage of everything just started to come up. And we're like, what's this? What are we going to do now? How do you fix this? And say, well, you don't. You got to live with it. And we went, nah, not having that. What's, there's no Western medicine. Where's like, what else can we do? Oh, you can try acupuncture.
Yep.
So acupuncture, what the hell is that going to do? Some needles and stuff.
Yep.
Oh, well, give it a go.
Let's get that a crack.
Give it a crack. 12 sessions later, there I am just gone like this, playing my guitar again. And we're sitting there going, everyone goes, how do you do this? I'm like, I don't know. I've never had a choice. You just got to do it.
Yeah.
And you guys are very like big into the gyms, you're powerlifting into the stuff like that. You can choose when to start.
Yeah.
You can say, on Monday, I'm going to lose weight. On Monday, I'm going to start bulking. I'm going to start. My goal is to, pull 200 kilos off the floor. I'm going to start eating and gradually getting into that. With me, I had no choice. It was, you do this now or tomorrow you're dead. And if you gave up at any stage, you'll die. And that was what I was dealing with. You go out and you want to be a power lifter. I didn't have a good day today in the gym. I'm not feeling it. I'm not going to go. No, I'm not training today. I'm going to take a rest day. Oh, I haven't hit my macros today. I was X amount off my protein.
You
carbs.
get a rest day, bro.
You get a rest day.
You don't get one.
I do not get nothing. You don't get a rest day because your rest days is when you die. And that's where the mental health side of things kicks in.
Yeah.
Where you have the treatment, you sit in a comfy chair, put your cannula in, or your Hickman or your PICC line, your port, whatever, and you get administered this drug. And you have to sit there and watch it coming in and know this could kill me. Knowing that you are going to go home, you're going to throw up everywhere. You're going to be on the toilet for about 3-4 hours, that you won't be able to get out of bed. You're going to lose your hair. You're going to have a massive moon face.
Yeah.
And then you've got to sit there as an 18-year-old and you look on social media, there's your friends, they're going to parties, they're going to gigs, they've got girlfriends.
Yeah.
They're starting university. And as my journey continued, as their lives continued, they've got long-term relationships, they've got degrees, they're getting jobs, moving out. Some of them are getting married and having kids.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm still stuck as this 18-year-old.
Yeah.
I'm living in a bubble where I can see out, but they can't see in.
Yeah.
And sometimes that was by choice. Sometimes that was pure. I did not want them to see this world because it's so scary and so bad. I didn't want them to see me in this light. But when I did reach out and I put a post on social media, I think I was on the news promoting something with my bald head and looking really ill, and everyone's just like, we had no idea. And I had I got 200 DMs in a day.
Yeah, wow.
They're sort of, half the time Facebook's turning around going like, are you a robot? Because this is really weird. And people, you went to high school with, or 2 grades above you, you've had one conversation with them, go, hey man, I hope you're well.
Yeah.
And you think they've taken the time out of their day to see that, recognize it, and message me about it, wishing me well. And it just did me the world of good.
Yeah, I bet.
And I can't brag enough about the mental health side of things, because I put it down as the mental health was harder than the treatment.
Yeah, right.
So back into the story. So the day I went in for a scan, and they turned around and said, do you want the good news or the bad news? And I said,
what?
I said, dude, you're pulling my leg here. What's the good news? And they said, congratulations, you're in remission, you're cancer free. And I thought, sweet.
Good news.
Great news.
This is,
Then there was a catch. There's always a catch with me. And I said, well, what's the bad news? And they said, your left lung's half collapsed. And I went, of course it is. Screw it. Of course it is. That's just, something that's just happened.
Yeah.
And they said, what we need to do is we need to bring you in now, and we need to start addressing it. So it's a thing called a spontaneous pneumothorax. So best way I can describe it is there's a little nodule of tissue that sits around the lining of your lung. And if that sort of pops, it'll create a space between your chest wall and your lung, and it'll just slowly go like this, and there'll be a pocket of air. And 9 times out of 10, people can have them in everyday lives, and the body will just heal it, and it'll just lift the lung back up and attach it back to the chest wall. But because I've had so much chemotherapy, radiotherapy, stem cell transplants, and everything you can imagine thrown at me, my lungs went from being like tissue paper to like cardboard. So if you imagine you got a piece of tissue paper and you scrunched it up as hard as you can, like you boys, big boys, you scrunched it up as hard as you could, and you put it on the table, it'll just whoosh back to it. You got a piece of cardboard, and I got you, John, to stomp on it,
Yeah.
and you put it on the table and said, right, that thing's going to come back to normal by
It'll be
itself.
the same shape.
It's not going to do it. You can leave that there for years, and it's not going to move.
Yeah.
If anything, it's going to collapse more in. And that was my lungs.
Fuck.
So
So they had to do something for
they
that.
had to sort of, let's try and do something.
Yeah.
So they put a chest drain in. So they put a drain in between your ribs and to sort of suck the excess air out.
Yeah.
So then your lung can hopefully reinflate.
Yep.
Didn't work.
Of course not.
Of course not. So they said, right, we're going to try something else called a talcum glue pleurodesis. So we're going to go in through your rib cage and inflate the lung ourselves and glue it back. I thought, yeah, sweet, that sounds safe. And then
Glue's good.
glue's good, you know. I thought, you know, better be using some good super glue. Yeah,
We can get the good glue,
good stuff.
please.
Good stuff, please. I don't want, you know, double-sided sticky tape on it. So we did that, and that worked for about 20 minutes,
Oh,
and then collapsed back
Fucking
down.
hell.
And during this time, I had 2 like garden hose sized drains in my back, and we're like, "What do we do now?" And they said, "Okay, leave it with us. Leave it with you. Well, hang on a minute. What am I meant to do in the meantime? Well, you can stay there. Stay here." I was attached to my bed, these lungs, and to the wall where the pressure is to suck, and the suction. And I'm like, I couldn't move from the right side of my bed for about 3 weeks.
Get
So
fucked.
everything I did, I went to the bathroom, I ate, I slept, I washed, everything from the right side of my bed. So there's a funny story that there I am on the commode using, you know, doing what nature does.
Yeah.
And I get a FaceTime off my Uncle Artie up in Cairns.
Yeah.
Hey, mate, how are you? And I'm just sitting there having a shit. So it's like, I'm good, thanks. Why? What are you two up to? Like, I just want to check in how you were. I'm like, I'm in a hard place at the moment. Call me back in a minute. That's just, you know, one of the things that happened. And so I lived
3 weeks.
3 weeks. And so I spent probably about 6 weeks at that one spell. 12 weeks in that one spell in hospital. Lucky enough, a friend of ours has a camping fridge.
Yeah.
So we just brought a camping fridge in. And I'm like, I'm not eating hospital food anymore. I think I'll die just eating that.
You'd be over it by now.
Not do it, man. And I'm like, I asked them, I said, what's worse, this or prison food? And they went, I don't know, it's about the same budget. So I said, hang on a minute. They've done something bad. I've not done nothing. And I get the same food. And they went, yeah, but, you know, take the good with the bad, and walked off. And I'm like, righto. Another thing sort of just messes with your head is, you know, your creature comforts, you're in an uncomfortable bed, you've got tubes coming out of you, you don't know what you're doing, you're eating terrible food, you know, you're bored as hell because you got nothing to do. I wasn't necessarily sick. You know, I felt pretty good.
Yep.
But I just got to sit there all day, and mine just turns into nothing. So they came back and said, right, we're going to try that surgery again, but this time we're going to do it a bit differently. I thought, you know, what does Albert Einstein says, you know, do something once. Great, you know, you do it twice, but that's just stupid.
Yeah.
So we thought, yeah, well, screw it. You guys are the doctors. We're gonna try it. Did it and didn't work. So I thought, well, you know, I've just spent another 6 weeks in here now trying to do this. And they said, okay, well, they're kind of starting to stabilize a bit with the medication that you're on. So what we're going to do is we're going to send you off. And if there's any, we're going to follow you up every couple of weeks, take x-rays, all that sort of stuff. And if you start to decline, we'll bring you in and we'll discuss from there. So for about 2.5 years, I was on 50 milligrams a day of prednisone, of steroid.
Yep.
And that's a lot. And kind of like every day I woke up and drank a case of Red Bull. I was just go. I tried to do everything I could. I'm thinking, I've only got a minimum amount of time. I'm going to go to every gig I can, every festival I can. I'm going to start bands. I'm going to start going to the gym again. I'm going to start doing this, that, and the other. And, you know, it developed that my resting heart rate was around 140 beats per minute, just sitting in like this now.
Oh, yeah, fuck.
So I go and then do something, and it's, you know, skyrockets to 170, 180. You know, I'm sitting there max heart rate, just going to the bathroom. So that was for 2.5 years. 2.5 years of practicing my life. I'm sprinting.
Yeah, right.
Everything you do, doesn't matter what it is. The second you wake up in the morning, I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'm going to sprint there, go to the bathroom as quick as I can, sprint to wash your hands, sprint downstairs. You know, you do that for 2.5 years, you're pretty tired.
Fucking
During that time, I was coughing probably about 400 to 500 times a day.
Fuck.
Yeah. So you imagine you get cold, right? And you're coughing, say, 100 times a day with a cold or a flu, and your stomach's sore, you're cramping, you're exhausted, your throat's sore. You times that by 5 for 2 years. That was the predicament I was in. So I started to gradually decline over and over time. Then it came to the back end of 2019, and I was left in a wheelchair. I couldn't
Fuck.
walk. I was so exhausted I couldn't walk. It'd take me half an hour to get from my bedroom downstairs. I would need a Powerade, a cup of tea, a piece of toast, several biscuits, and some lollies just to get me out of bed, just to give me some sort of sugar. Just, all right, sugar high, quick, go. Then it'd take me probably half an hour to recover from that. So again, the mental health side of things came into play. Knowing that I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be in extreme pain. I'm going to be so exhausted just by waking up, just by living. So, you know, it took me half an hour to recover from doing that. Then it's like, I've got to go to the bathroom. I've got to now get up, go to the bathroom, sit on the toilet, use the toilet, get up and go. And sometimes that's a strenuous deal for healthy people. I would have panic attacks, serious big panic attacks by needing to go to the toilet. And I would make myself constipated.
Fucking
Like I wouldn't go for a few days because I knew it was going to hurt so bad.
Yeah.
And during this time, though, I was seeing an exercise physiologist who I saw all through my cancer journey as well. And, you know, she's just like, we just need to continue trying to maintain somewhat strength in you, which is a thing that I love the most, for nearly in the world, is training. And so I never wanted that to take away from me, because I still have, you know, I wasn't going to a powerlifting gym. I was surrounded by, you know, 80-year-olds plus doing way more weight than me. But I'm still going in, I'm still going in, still putting the work in, still thinking, okay, how can I improve on this? How can I get this better? How can I do that? And the type of brain that I have, I'll tell you a funny story, was I was in ICU just after my second lung surgery, and they turned around and said, you know, your resting heart rate's about 160 at the moment. We need to keep you still. I'm like, well, I need to pee. Okay, there's a bottle. You're going to do it lying down. I said, well, I can't do that. I can't do that. You know, you try to get anyone to pee lying down. It's a very hard thing to do. I'm like, well, I need to sit up and do it. So it took 3 nurses to help me up. It took me about 20 minutes to get me up to pee. And I said, okay, I need to pee again an hour later because I'm pumping you full of fluids. They've gone, well, we can't do it. I'm like, okay. Did it again, took about 21 minutes. I'm like, 21 minutes? No, next time I'm going to do it in 19. Next time after that, we're going to do it in 17. And I've made it a competition. And that's how I'm built. I've got to be the best at everything I do. They said, well, you can't. You've got to relax. No. I've got to be the best because I'm not letting this thing beat me.
Yeah.
That the attitude of to be the man, you got to beat the man. To be the best, you've just got to continuously grind and put your effort into it. And I was able to do that and overcome the cancer, and then started to deteriorate, started to die.
Fuck.
And I'm sitting there going, well, I'm dying. There's nothing you can do. What can we do? And I got a referral to see Professor Dan Chambers up at the Prince Charles Hospital. And he looked at me and just sort of said, okay, we're going to have to fast track you for a transplant assessment. So this was in June 2020. So my mum's birthday is June 9th. We saw him June 9th. So happy birthday, Mum. And I was really, really, really struggling. Like, not losing the will to live, but it was up there.
Yeah.
Thinking I'm really like last set, you know, I'm around the 10th rep.
Yeah.
I got a 200 kilo squat on my back and I'm really, really struggling right now. Help me. Just please help me. Yeah. And he said, right, we're going to do the best we can. And I was booked in for early July, and that's the earliest we can get you in. That's really, really soon. I'm like, oh, okay. How can I hang out for July? How can I hang out for July? Hang out for July. Yeah. Didn't quite make it to July. So on the 13th of June, I passed out at home. I collapsed in bed. And with mum and dad like, oh my God, he's blue.
Uh-oh.
I'd started to turn, my lips were blue, the feet started to turn blue. You're definitely not good being blue.
Blue's bad.
No, not good blue. And they said, you got to call an ambulance. Right now, ambulance came in and said, he's got no pulse. We need to call in our like backup, like special ops, Navy SEALs coming in. They came in and said, he's got no pulse. Okay, we got to find this quick. Found it, like a slither of life still left in me. We got him to the hospital now. Raced me to Gold Coast University Hospital, straight into into the emergency and they said, right, we've got to test him for COVID. And we've just gone, what? I'm collapsed. I've got no idea. This is all secondhand information. And they've gone, what? Test him for COVID. He ain't got COVID. Well, we don't know.
Don't get fucked.
So then they're testing for COVID. And you've got to be, the results come back as quick as they can. Probably take about 4 hours. So there's me in a room practically dying. And my parents are standing outside watching me. They can't come in and hold my hand because I don't have COVID. And
You're
they
fucking kidding me, cunt.
straight up.
That's
Straight
fucked.
up. They're, my family's there. Can't come in and see me for about 4 hours. And they said, no, he's not got COVID. You can go in. Door busted open. Parents are in there. And
Well, no fucking shit. You didn't have COVID,
Yeah.
you dumb fucks.
yeah, exactly. Well, you've got a test for everything. Then they started testing. They said, well, what's gone wrong with it? How can you just all of a sudden be, you're gone? So they tested my brain. They tested my lungs. They said, your lungs have stopped working practically. They've both completely collapsed. You've got no lungs left in you. I'm like, sweet. The right side of your heart stopped working. It failed.
So are you awake at this point?
No. Oh, I was in and out of consciousness.
Right.
Much memory of it?
I do have a memory, and I'll tell it because it is very funny. They decided they needed to strip me down, check my whole body out. So they took my underwear off, and I was completely out of it. I could feel them taking it off, and I've just sat up all right and gone, I'm a grower, not a shower. And back down, gone, passed out.
That's amazing.
And I'm like, I've gone, well, hey, come on, I got to tell the world. I'm sorry about that. But that was just one thing I had to do. I'll tell you a funny story about something like that later. And we've turned around and gone, okay, testing for everything. Test right side of his heart's failing, and it stopped working. He's not stabilizing. They tried to put the tube down your throat and sort of what's it called, ventilate you. They tried to ventilate me. Didn't work. Well, you got no lungs. Your lungs aren't working. How are we meant to ventilate you with your lungs if you got no lungs? Well, okay. So we're gonna have to put him on emergency ECMO, which is called life support. And not just any life support. This is the nickname of it is the last chance, the last dance, plan Z. This is the final straw. And so pretty much what it is, you put a tube up one side of your groin or your neck. So I use my groin, one up one side, and it takes the blood out of your system, and it takes out the other side of your groin, and it oxygenates it through a machine, and it just keeps pumping you around, just the job of your lungs for you.
Yeah.
And this is 2 tubes, probably yay big, so about garden hose size.
God knows.
Yep. And they're keeping me alive, and they're not held in by much. They're only some stitches.
Yeah.
So I move, I'm gone, you're dead. So they put me in an induced coma, and they said, well, we need to get someone down here from the Prince Charles immediately. So they called the man himself, Dr. Douglas Wall, who's my surgeon. And he came in, and when he came in, the way my father describes it was the door opens and the world stopped. Everyone just moved out of the way, complete, just gone. And it was like a silhouette of an angel standing there. He's a big South African dude, big rugby player. And it was like, okay, God's just arrived. It was like God was standing in the hospital, and he's walking towards her, and everyone sort of stops and moved out of the way. I don't want to sound bad, but when like Darth Vader walks in the room and stormtroopers just stop, move, yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full sir. That was how it was. And he came in and assessed me, and the first thing he said was, hopefully he's all right. Didn't really look at me, talked to mum and dad about me and asking how I was. And the first assessment he made of me went on, goes, I like his legs. And we've gone, what? His legs? Yeah, okay. Well, what about the lungs? We need the lungs looking at. No, he's got good legs. And mum was like, legs, yeah, okay, yeah. Well, he trained legs actually the day before he passed out. So yeah, he's got legs. Okay, fair enough. Didn't think anything of it. He's like, right, I'm gonna see what I can do.
You're still unconscious.
I'm still unconscious. Coma there.
Yeah.
I'm off tripping. I can tell you some coma stories, man. I was sitting probably about 30 different drugs running into me at this stage. One of them being ketamine.
Yeah, right.
That's just one. And
You're fucking on a trip of a lifetime.
I'm on.
Do you have any recollection of that?
Oh, I do. I've got some trauma from it, and I'll tell you some stories. So it's kind of like the Jimi Hendrix experience meets Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band mixed into one at Woodstock.
Yeah, right.
And that would have been a tea party compared to what was going on in my head. So, they thought, okay, we've got to do something about this kid. So, okay, got the green light from Brisbane to say, right, we're going to bring him up. So they brought me up to Brisbane, put me straight into ICU.
Yeah.
Just that journey alone could have killed me. The
Yeah,
lung
true.
thing could have killed me. Putting the ECMO in could have killed me. You being alive for that whole 2.5 years could have died at any minute.
Yeah,
You know, passing at home could have killed you. So it was a very reoccurring thing of me thinking you're gonna die,
yeah,
and constantly my body going, no, it's not time. No, we're gonna keep fighting. We're gonna keep going. So once we got to Brisbane, the first person we saw was Dr. Andreas Fern. He turned around and just went, "Oh, he's not good, is he?" We've gone, no, yeah, he's not good. Okay, well, he ain't got much of a chance here. Big German guy. And he's just going, nope, your boy's not good. Mum and dad are like, well, we know he's not good. Okay, we're going to try our best, but he's not good. And walks off. And we sat there going, even the nurses turned around and went, that's a bit rich, Andres. I've got to tell it how it is. And we just thought, okay. Mum and dad have thought, oh my God,
you're still unconscious.
I'm still
Yeah,
unconscious.
gotcha. Yeah,
So prior to the ECMO going in, dad, my brother and my sister had to say goodbye to me because I could have died in that surgery. They said to come in and say final goodbyes because he may not make this. There's a slim chance he'll make it.
yeah,
So there they go. They come in and I was somewhat awake for it and I've got some recollection of it, but you put yourself in their shoes, you know, there's your son lying in a bed and you got to say goodbye for the final time ever.
yeah.
And you know, I wouldn't wish that upon my worst enemy, upon anyone I've ever come across. I would not wish that upon anyone. And 2 weeks later, they had to do it again. So in the space of 2 weeks, I think they had to say goodbye to me about 3 times. It's goodbye, son. We'll never see you again. And I'm like, that's not happening. Even in my head, where I can't hear what they're saying, I'm like, no, I'm not letting my parents put me in the ground.
Yeah.
I am not letting them do that because that's the rest of their life's gone. That's the rest of my family's life gone. My brother, my sister will never get over that. My mum and dad will never get over that. My friends will never get over that. You know, the doctors have worked so hard on me. I can't let them down.
Mm.
How much time and effort they've put into saving me, the money that's gone into saving me, I was responsible for not letting me die.
Yeah, yeah.
So, excuse me, in my dreams that I had on ECMO, there was a turning point in one of them. And it was like, okay, I can go and die or I can fight. I'm going to fight. And the ECMO dreams that I had, for example, when I was in ICU, there's a thing called so it's when how they wash you. It's called, I think it's called a tilt table. No, a Jordan frame. Sorry, a Jordan frame. It's probably where they put these like slats underneath you because I was in a coma, I couldn't move,
Yeah.
and they practically lift you off the bed. I had a video of it. It's pretty cool, and to clean underneath you.
Yeah.
And it kind of, if you look at it with your squinted eyes, it kind of looks like a big barbecue.
Yeah, right.
But in my head, like I had a temperature at the time as well, so I'm like, in my head, I'm on a barbecue being cooked by my nurses.
That's what
I think they're cooking me, going to kill me and eat me. That's just one of the. And I'm lying there, paralyzed because I can't move.
Yeah, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it's like, okay, Elliot looks a bit distressed, so okay, we know what we do. We'll put his music on for him. I'm like, you cheeky buggers, you're killing me. You're about to eat me with my playlist on. I'm like, okay, yep, sure, I'll take that. And I go, okay, he still looks really distressed. We're going to FaceTime his mum and dad because they would do this when you know, they couldn't do it when people in the room.
Yeah.
So we're going to FaceTime his mum and dad. So there's mum and dad FaceTiming me, going, "You're doing so well, son. You're doing really, really good. You know, we're so proud of you." But in my head, I'm going, "You're doing so well, son. You're doing really great. Great. My parents just abandoned me. They think I'm doing really well to die and eat and get eaten." So that's gone. Another dream being, you know, I constantly dreamt I was being killed. So my uncles kidnapped me and wanted to sell me for my lungs. Apparently they're worth a lot of money. Don't know why. So that was an experience where I had to sort of fight to get rid of them. I was in an abandoned hospital, kidnapped by a different team of surgeons who wanted to kill me. You know, just a random. I got all written down here. It's random different sort of things. A lot of them revolving around death. A lot of them revolving around being very, 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 very scared, and they were all real.
Yeah.
They were so real that when for an hour, like 10 minutes a day, you could wake me up to see if I wasn't brain dead.
Yep.
So I was in this coma for about 6 weeks.
Yep.
I spent it around just over 60 days in ICU.
That'd wake you up.
They woke me up about an hour, not an hour, 10 minutes a day.
Would you be conscious for that 10 minutes? Or somewhat?
Lukewarm.
Yeah.
So not really know what's going on, waking up, getting completely spaced out, start having a panic attack and switching back straight
And
off.
they put you back down again.
Straight off,
Fucking
flick of a
hell.
button. So I'm constantly sitting there just in and out of conscious, not knowing what's going on, don't know what's real. But waking up, for example, and seeing my dad, and like in my dream, my dad had done, had kidnapped me, had sold me off to people, had done this. I'm like, my dad's the most loveliest people person you'll ever meet. And I'd wake up and I'd freak out and I'd have a panic attack. Or I'd see my nurses who have cooked me in my dreams and I'd have a panic attack. Or I'd see some other nurses where for some reason in my dream I committed a crime and the punishment was we're going to freeze you in an ice freezer and simulate you drowning until you naturally die.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. And that was a constant simulation of you trying to breathe and trying to die for the rest of your life. And I'd see them when I wake up and freak out and think, oh my God, I'm still here. They're going to kill me. And have panic attacks straight back into your dreams. And that took me a very long time to get over. Like even to a point of I dreamt that I needed a transplant, so I needed to do a lung transplant, and that was the discussion at the time. So in my head, I'm dreaming about that, and I had to take a helicopter ride to get it, and we got pulled over into the casino on the Gold Coast by this pretty much like the NWA, these gangsters who were like, "Who are you? You're police. We're going to kill you because you're police. You think you're in our airspace." And we're like, no. This kid's about to die. We need to get him to surgery. Okay, well, you got to take these caps now to prove you're not police. And you're doing it to a gun to your head. And they were just effing and swearing with all this gangster music on. So anytime, you turn on Triple J or something and someone like Kid Leroy's rapping or something, you're sitting there going like, I can't listen to that, off. Gone. My favorite band in the world, who are now actually some of my good friends, the June Rats, and if you've ever heard of them, so Aussie punk rock, stoner band. And they just released a new album. Everyone kept playing it for me. And in that dream, it was because I had done something wrong. They wanted, the whole world was trying to kill me, and they're trying to kill them as well. And they made a song to stop it. Because they made a song to stop it, they were like, no, we've got to kill them as well. So I couldn't listen to their music for a while because it just traumatized me.
Yeah.
And all these different things just kept constantly reoccurring. It took me probably 4 to 6 months to attempt to get over it. So in hospital, in an induced coma, 6 weeks later, and they look at it and go, well, he's got an infection now in the right side of his life support, and he's not good. Luckily, they said, well, not luckily, actually, unluckily, they turned around and said, if he doesn't make it through this weekend for the 4th of July weekend, he doesn't make it till Monday. We don't have an offer by Monday. He's dead. He probably won't be able to make it. He won't be strong enough to handle a transplant.
Yeah.
And on the 11th hour, we got a phone call from Dr. John McIntosh, who is probably the coolest doctor you'll ever meet. Like Silver Fox, absolute legend. And my mum and dad said, oh, we've got an offer. And they said, okay, can you get here by midnight? They said, yep, sure. They just left. They just got home. I think it was about 11 o'clock at the time. Home, eat, shower, back up here for midnight. The lungs were tested. They were tested within an inch of their lives. And they said it's probably one of the most expensive Ubers to get them here. Cost $500,000 on a government jet to get them. And $500,000 for $500,000 just to get them there, just the taxi ride to get from point A to me, not even to get them in me, not for the surgery, not for the anesthetic, just to get them to me was $500,000. So like, okay, that's crazy. I had the surgery.
Were you woken up at any point in time before the surgery?
Nope.
So you went down with the coma and then essentially woke up with a new set of lungs.
Pretty much. So it was I think 11-hour surgery. It took 4 hours for my surgeon to get my old lungs out. He turned around and said, I do not know how you're alive. He said, they look like a pair of old man's testicles. And I said, hang on a minute, back it up. You haven't much experience with old man's testicles, and he's gone. I'm like, and I looked at him a bit funny, man. You're a rugby player and whatnot. And he just laughed and went, talking from a soccer player, you can't talk. I'm like, yeah, fair enough. And he goes, yeah, just imagine you had 2 old man's testicles in your chest for about 2 years. And I thought, well, that's not a pleasant sight to sort of think about, is it? Anyway, 4 hours to get them out, 6 hours to put the new ones in. and they were actually contemplating putting a new heart in me as well because the right side of my heart failed. And they said, no, every the lungs went in, and it was just like a reboot. Turn it
Wow.
off, turn it off, turn it back on again. And it worked. And they said, wow, he's just completely good now. You know, I was on dialysis for a little bit to get my kidneys back to normal.
Yeah.
They said your lungs were practically, they were useless. We didn't know how you were alive. So they got sent off. They're tested by the best people in the country to see what the hell all the chemotherapy and everything's done to them.
Yeah.
Because of the chemotherapy within my old lungs, I tell you a funny thing that I was allergic to oxygen.
Yeah.
So anytime I go into a hospital, what are you allergic to? And I say oxygen, and they think I'm taking the piss. It's like, how are you allergic to oxygen? It's like, well, one of the chemotherapy drugs I had called bleomycin, which is a reason why my lungs got so bad. They said if it's exposed to high levels of flow oxygen above, I think 22%, it can produce rapid producing free. What are they called? I don't know, these certain cells in your lungs, free radical cells, that's it.
Yeah.
And they can go and destroy your lining of your lung, they can kill you, and they can do all this, that. So you can't have oxygen. So I was, the thing you need the most in the world to live. You can go a couple of days without water, a week without, or two without food. You can go half a second without oxygen. So it's like, well, you're allergic to it. You can't have the high flow stuff. So even through my whole journey of I can't breathe, I'm in a wheelchair, I'm struggling to take a breath. No, you can't have oxygen. You can't even have a bit of help.
Jesus.
Yeah, I know. So that was another sort of a thing that I do. Most people are on oxygen 24/7 to help them sort of breathe, and now you got to do it yourself. Great. So I had the transplant. I spent, I think, about 4 days with an open sternum. So my chest was open for about 4 days because the lungs were so big that to drain the excess blood away.
Fuck.
So they did that, stitched me back up on I think the 8th of July, started to wake me up properly on the 10th, and it was my birthday on the 12th.
So you're awake for your birthday?
Awake for my birthday. And I was just like, what is going on here? You can sort of see the scar I've got here.
Yeah.
So that's from a trachea, so I've got a big tube in your throat, so I can't talk. I'm mouth and everything.
Yeah.
Can't talk. I don't have a clue what's going on. Everyone's like, congratulations, you got new lungs. You're doing this. And I'm just like, it's completely spaced out.
Everything's coming at you.
Oh yeah, it's like 100 miles an hour. I'm coming down off this one hell of a trip, and it's just like spaced out. I have not know what's going on. My eyes are huge. I'm just like, look like I just had a party at Charlie Sheen's house.
Yeah.
And I just not know what's going on. And over time, got stronger and stronger and stronger. And they nicknamed me the sickest person in Australia and New Zealand during peak COVID in Australia. During peak COVID, where we've got cases everywhere, half the country's locked down. It's like, no, Elliot's the sickest. COVID aside, doesn't even matter about COVID. He tops them. And so about lungs and transplants as well. I was told, I'm not too sure if it's still 100% correct, but if you're at the top of the list in your state, you get first dibs or whatever is yours. Say, for example, something comes up in New South Wales or Victoria. Oh, we need them. They're fantastic. They perfect match for Elliot. And they've got a guy that comes in and goes, well, he's not as sick as Elliot, but because they're Victorian lungs, they're the guy who gets them first. So there's no hierarchy of overall country. It goes off state, and it's a handshake, gentleman's agreement until they're literally in me. So they could be on a plane coming towards me, and they're coming safe from Victoria and just about to touch down in Brisbane, and they've gone, yeah, we need them back in Victoria. They can legally go, yeah, screw you, see you, bye.
Oh, fuck.
So yeah, and that was whole of Australia and New Zealand.
Did you ever find out who gave you the lungs?
No. Yeah, I don't think you're not legally not allowed to know.
Right.
They come as like a serial number.
Yep.
Your XBB1, whatever it is. And I wrote a letter to the family, sort of no revealing information.
Yep.
So like age, gender, where you're from, all that type of jazz.
Yep.
I think they said just safety, sort of from sort of both parties.
Yeah,
if you got a, as a loved one that's died.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've got their organs in me.
Yeah.
And if someone that might have a spur of the moment go, no, I want my son's or my daughter's
Yeah,
things
yeah,
back. They come find me, and that could not end well. Or they can get super clingy and think that I'm living vicariously. They're living vicariously through me.
Yeah.
As their son or their daughter.
Yeah.
That's another thing I asked as well. Does it matter about gender? And they said, not really, as long as they fit the same blood
what
type,
Andreas
tissue
said.
type, and
Mm.
yeah. So I could have like a 6'1" big Kiwi lady's lungs in me. Well, that'd be cool. Yeah, I thought that'd be interesting. But I know the person died from a head injury. That's all I know because that's how the
Yeah.
lungs fill with blood.
Yeah.
But besides that, I've got no idea. But the rehab thing started. I'm like, now we're talking. Now we're doing stuff I actually want to do.
Yep.
Fitness, training. Let's do it.
Mm.
I was out of bed, so I woke up on the 10th, and I was out of bed. Took my first, got standing up by the 21st. And they said, "That's really, someone who was as sick as I was a few years prior. They had said he didn't get out of bed until 3 months post surgery. I was out of bed in the same month. I took my first steps a couple of days later.
Not competitive at all.
No, not at all. And I'm like, I got to win this. So we're going to do it. And that was the mentality. They said that's something that's kept you alive for so long, is the fact that you want to be the best at everything you do. That competitive mindset of, I'm going to win, because, not necessarily if you're first or last. I was winning my own race, but like in your own race, I've got to win this. I would beat everything else, because no, I'm not competing with necessarily anyone. I'm competing with something that's going to kill me. It's either you win or you die. And that's something that a lot of people try and they say, oh, you got to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, is a quote from Eric Thomas, who's probably one of the best motivational speakers in the world. He said, if you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, you'll be successful. And a lot of people turn around and say, well, okay, wonder what it's like to not breathe. It's like, I've done that.
You've been there.
I've done it. I've lived that. That was my reality for 2.5 years. I want to succeed as bad as I want to breathe. And God, mate, you want to breathe. When you can't breathe and then you want to take a breath and you can't get that breath, so many things go through your head. You think you're going to die. You think you're about to pass out. And your fight or flight kicks in. And your heart rate goes quicker. Your adrenaline kicks in. You're constantly then just shaking with being anxious. And then, okay, now you got to go recover. You got to go sit on the couch for half an hour to try and catch your breath. So that's the life I led practically for 5.5 years of my life, my adulthood, my coming to age,
The transition period from a teenager to an adult.
Exactly. It's been in a hospital, in and out of hospital.
So how's your health now?
Our health now is fantastic. I'm approaching, what's the date? Today's the 4th.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had my surgery today, 10 months ago, 11 months ago, 11 months ago, 11 months ago today. That's pretty cool. Cool little anniversary doing this podcast. Who would have thought he's 11 months ago, you've just had a transplant. And I was like, now I'm here on the platform, like doing this. Who would have thought that? And like my progress is gone a lot better than they thought.
Yeah.
A lot better, because I treat it like a job.
Yeah.
This is my job. To stay alive is my job. I've got to eat on time, every day. Take my tablets on time, every day. I've got to do my exercises every day. And there's no days off. If I want to take a rest day and do something a little less strenuous, I sort of have the luxury where I can, but tablets still have to be the same. Food still has to be the same. Exercise still has to be the same. I can rest. I can watch Netflix for a day, but I still got to do my stuff. I miss a lot of tablets, and that gets into a habit. You'll get infection. You'll be, going down that spiraling thing. And if you don't survive that, you die. If you do survive it, it's another X amount of time onto your rehab. You can't be doing the things you want to do, and you get given this chance to live again. And it's a feeling you can't describe. You can't even put it into words. This euphoric feeling of, oh my God, I'm alive. I still think that's the greatest thing in the world. I've experienced so many cool things. Like, I've just talked about all the lows of it. I can talk about all the highs of having the journey I've been on. And it's a euphoric feeling knowing that I still think the best thing in the world is waking up in the morning, because you never know when you're going to be at night. That night, you could have met the love of your life by the end of that night. You could have had your dream job. You could have done something really cool. You could have hit a PB on whatever you think you couldn't hit, but you just hit it. And that could be brilliant. You just do not know what's going to happen during the day. And the lows that I've had have also been matched by some pretty cool highs. So for my life, I've been a big wrestling fan.
Yep.
So WWE, I know, people bag it, whatever, but hey, it's entertainment and I enjoy it. And the Make-A-Wish Foundation got in contact with me when I was 18. They said, what do you want? I said, what do you mean what I want? You got a wish.
Really?
Anything within Australia, because, you know, you're not terminal.
Yep.
So I'm like, oh, cheers.
Just kind of.
Just kind of terminal. Yeah, yeah. So anything in Australia that you want? And I just sat there and just thought, well, I can't have that. No, I can't have that. Okay. I'm a big wrestling fan. I want to meet John Cena.
Yeah.
Because he's been an inspiration to me for a long time. His motto of never give up
Yeah.
was something that we lived by for a long, long time. Just don't give up. Just keep fighting. Never give up. Never give up. And that's him. So they're like, sure, we're going to fly you to an event in Sydney. I'm going to put you front row with yourself and your family, and you're going to meet him backstage. And I did.
No way.
I met him, and he's the coolest dude you'll ever meet.
Yeah.
He's huge, but he's not tall. He's about my height, like about 6'1".
Yeah.
But the dude wears a headband on his arm.
Right.
And you're just sitting there, and it's not like it's just holding on there. It's like expanded. And you're like, right, he's big, and bounced into this room, big ball of energy. And I'm just like, oh, gosh, you're real. And you don't think it's real. And I'm like, wow, that's fantastic. And I'm like, first thing I thought was, God, you're so American. I'm like, but big jaw, big arms, big legs, very deep voice. Like Captain America just walked in and he's like, hey, kid, how you doing? And he just sat down for about 20 minutes and had a full conversation about me. And he said, gave me a piece of advice that I've never forgotten. He said, just get better. I don't care what you do. Just get better. So I devoted every ounce of effort I had into getting better because that's what John Cena wanted me to do. And I came to a realization that if I can beat the deadliest disease known to man, it's cancer, I can beat that twice. And I can survive a double lung transplant off life support. And I devoted all my effort to doing that. What can anyone else do? If you devote 100% of your time and your effort into doing something, there is nothing you can't achieve. People have written me off. The best medical professionals in the country have written me off. Said, no, he's going to die. How are you still alive? You shouldn't be here. I know I shouldn't be here, but it's the work that I put in. It's the effort, the determination, that never giving up. And if I can inspire someone else to put that same time and effort into whatever else they want to do, it's just one person that takes away, even from today, listening to this, one person that turns around and goes, right, I'm going to make a change. I'm going to change my diet. I'm going to change my lifestyle. I'm going to have a better relationship with my partner or my family. Or even just go, you know what, I don't like my job. I'm going to stop and I'm going to pursue my dream. Then my whole journey has been accomplished. My whole journey makes it worth it.
Man, I think if people put in half the effort you did and what you went through, they'd fucking be successful.
A hundredth of his effort would probably be better than most.
Yeah. Fuck.
And it's the thing is, I'm not special. I'm not, you know.
I'm going to stop you right there. 'Cause, look, no offense,
Pretty
but
fucking special, bro.
like that's probably the most understated thing you've said on this podcast. But like listening to that story, I couldn't think of any. I haven't heard any story like that before.
No,
I don't even think I've even seen a movie or read a book with that much, you know, that many lows in such a short period of time for a young bloke. Like, yeah, look, you're probably not special. You're made of the same thing as us two idiots.
Meat and bones.
But something up top, man. Yeah, something up top in there, whatever your childhood, whatever developed that fucking mindset is incredible. And that's what's special.
Yeah. That's my family. That's my mum and dad, my brother, my sister, and my friends.
Why do we get him on? We should get his parents on then.
Exactly. I'm just a guinea pig.
I've met his mum, and we'd need 4 hours or 5 hours of podcasting.
4 hours just to, like, you need some. Even Andreas turned around and said, dude, if you get your mum on here, you need a couple of days. You need like part 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Fucking love it.
It's shit. They were fantastic, and it's that I was so lucky to have a close knit family. That support that I had from my friends and my family was one of the main reasons I'm still here, because they dropped everything. My mum sold her business. She had one of the most successful cafes on the Gold Coast, new and up and coming, nominated for awards and everything. And she said, no, I've got to sell it so I can take care of my son. Yeah. How many parents would know that would do that? How many people would you know that would stop their whole lives to take care of their child? And you think, well, yeah, he's a parent. You should be doing that. But who does it every single day? Like, my mum had to shower me practically for a year every single night. And she did it. She had to wipe my bum for near enough 6 months every single day. And she did not complain once. No one complained at all. My brother and sister both finished high school during that period. they had their own demons. You know, they've got their own lives. They have to live their own problems, but they push them aside because they wanted to focus on me. And, you know, sometimes I do feel selfish. Sometimes it is as a feeling of, you know, I'm so sorry because you guys were neglected. Everything else in our life. So that 5-6 years was neglected. And now I'm in a good space where we can focus on the other two, when we can focus on quite on like normal people problems. And that's something I'm even struggling to face.
Yeah, I bet.
It's like, you know, I've only had to deal with the extreme.
Yeah.
That no one else has to deal with. I've never had to deal with relationships or go get a job, start a degree, think about your future. So, you know, that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
And that's hard.
Yeah, I bet.
But the thing that got me through the most was laughter and mindset.
Yeah.
Just me and my dad just took the piss the whole time. Just completely wound everyone up the whole time. Which is you know, classical sort of style. Just make a mess of everything. I'll tell you a funny story because we've had a lot of doom and gloom, and I'll tell you something funny. So a day after I was diagnosed, my mum's in England. Mum's just died, got cancer. Nurse walks in and goes, "Do you have any kids?" I went, "What? Kids? No, I haven't got around to that yet, love. Do you want any?" And I'm like, "Well, not right now. I'm a bit busy." And I'm like, "Yeah, you're a good looking girl, but no thanks." Why? Why are you asking? "Oh, okay, so the chemotherapy can pretty much kill your reproductive glands, so your sperm." And I've gone, "Cool. Does it come back?" And they're like, "It might not." I've gone, "Great. Well, what do you want me to do?" "We want you to go down this clinic and give a deposit." And we've just gone, me and Dad was looked at each other and just went, "What?" And he's gone, "All right, fair enough. Where is this?" "Oh, this is in probably a 20-minute drive away." And we've got a 15-20-minute drive. And we've gone, "Yeah, all right. All right, Dad, come on. You're going to drive me for a wank."
Fucking hell.
Brilliant. And we're sitting there in the car and I'm driving going like, you know, you've just been told all this bad news. The last thing you do is you're not aroused. You're not sitting there going, "Come on, mate. Like, we're on it, boys." And then we get to the joint. And in this sort of clinic, you'd want someone sort of half what attractive on the desk to sort of just get the juices flowing. But no, we've got like
the mindset correct.
Yeah, mindset correct, you know, focused game day. We got tuck shop ladies. The tuck shop ladies are sitting there. I'm like, bloody hell, here we go. And, you know, somewhat sort of excitement you had's just gone. You're sitting there going, all right.
Not quite the level of motivation you're
definitely not. You're not
in that kind of situation.
No, Kendall Jenner's not sitting there. You've got like a mom sitting there pretty much. You got Tracy from like behind the desk doing it. Anyway, so you go in the room. There's your cup. They give me the pee cup that you get to do a urine sample. And I'm looking at it going, "Well, I've never had sex with a cup before. It's a new one on me. It's a new one, you know."
Put that in the goal.
Put that in the tick, right? So bang the cup, and you know, do I sit there to crest the edge or whatever? No. So I just got down for business. And the pop thing in my mind, and goes, "Well, my dad's sitting up there waiting." Do I sit here and go, "Oh, I'm just gonna bang it up real quick and get out of here"? You know, the guy next to Dad sitting there going, "My son's in there for 15 seconds, fucking great." Walks off. Or do I sit there and I'm gonna spend like, okay, I'm gonna make it, you know, so he's fucking, you know, it's my son, he's in there, you know, an hour and a half, you know, he's banged out ice cream container worth. No. So I'm like, okay, let's just do it and get over it. Do the business. There's the cup, and gone. I'm like, fuck, I missed. Fuck! I've gone, "Oh no, what do I do now?" And I've gone, "Do I scrape it up and put it in? And my kid's going to be like infected by the whatever's on the wall?"
Oh, the paint.
Yeah, the paint. They got paint fumes in there. The kid's going to come out.
Or someone else had done the same thing.
Yeah, I know exactly. So I'm like, okay. I'm 18. I'm young, thankful for that. All right, I'm going to give it a minute. I'm going to reload and I'm going to go again. So I did that and, you know, did the thing and gave it back to them. Walked off and, you know.
Clean the wall.
Yeah, no, I left the wall. Fuck that. That's their job. So I left and it's probably still there, to be honest. You know, and they sort of, you know, you walk in the room and they said, "Right, there's some material over there in that folder and there's a TV remote and you can get out of it." I ain't touching that. Imagine how many blokes have sat down on the TV going like, "Don't like that, don't like this." Oh, a bit of that. And I'm like, "No." Looked over and like opened up the folder and it was all like crusty. I'm like, "Nope, put that away." And I'm like, you know.
I've always wanted to know that.
Yeah, apparently like but it was magazines. And I'm like, but it wasn't like the latest ones. It was like Playboy edition, 1977. And I'm sitting there going like,
even better.
Oh,
yeah, even better.
I think I'll bring my own.
I was bringing her, yeah.
Yeah, I think
Just take your phone. Oh, I guess
little-
5
Your
years
phone,
ago.
yeah. That sort of did the job.
You get a little
So-
red tube or something.
Yeah, so
But
you
like,
get
I
a
guess 5 years ago, wasn't it? It's like you didn't have that 4G
No fans
network.
only.
it's all
Fucking
pixelated and
Yeah.
yeah, that was a bit of a tip.
yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so we did that, and that's the hospital. And nurse came in at night. I don't know if she was a nurse. I don't know if she even worked there. This lady came in at night and sort of went, I heard you had to do your sampling today. I went, yep. How'd it go? And I'm like, what? What? How'd it go? And she went, I went, good, thanks. Do you work here? Yeah. She buggers off. I'm like, okay, that was weird. 2 days later, they come back and say, they've tested the stuff and it's all sweet. But they always like having 2 samples in case something else goes wrong. And I'm like, well, hang on a minute. I start chemo this afternoon. I got time to run up and down to. I said, oh no, you can do it in the bathroom. I'm like, okay. They give me this cup, and I'm sitting there going like, well, looked at Dad, and Dad's like, I'll leave the room.
I don't need to. This one's for you, son.
This one's for you, mate. You don't need my hand with this. And I've gone, oh, righto. Left. I've been sitting there in the bathroom, and I've just turned around and gone, every nurse and doctor knows what I'm doing in here. That's kind of not really attractive at all. Anyway, did the thing, got the cup, and I've gone.
Nothing on the wall this time.
Nothing on the wall. So no, that was like, if you needed to shower it off. And got outside, and I've got the cup in the bag, and I've gone, right, what do you want to do this? Well, I need to get to the clinic. Oh, sweet. Do you guys take it? No, you have to. I went, well, I can't drive.
No, your dad does not take your
my
cup of sperm.
dad took my cup of sperm to the clinic in a brown paper bag.
Fucking shout out, Dad.
Yeah, he's a legend for doing that. But as he's gone, I just thought, fuck, please get pulled over.
Yeah, please have to look inside the brown bag.
Please, like, what's in the box, man? It's like, what's in your box? What's in your bag? The coppers turn around, what's in your bag? My son's jizz. Imagine what sort of fine does that come under? That's you can't drive off with that. Some policeman's like, they'd be sitting there going through like the
We're gonna need to have
the precedent going like this. There needs to be something here. There's never been a case about this. So he comes back and says, well, we've done that. I'm like, okay, sweet. So that's stored ready for later in life.
Yep.
So that's one funny story. That's
fucking great.
That's a funny story.
I fucking love it, bro. Mate, your journey's incredible, bro. I feel like we have to get you back for part 2 post.
Yeah.
See what you're doing next.
Yeah, most definitely. Definitely got some cool things in the pipeline of what I want to do. And happy to talk to you boys whenever.
Sick. But what we're gonna do is hit you with 10 questions.
10 questions? Yep, go for it.
It's the first thing that pops into your head.
Rapid fire.
Rapid fire, go.
What word comes next? Apple, banana, house, ape.
Mango.
What motivates you to work hard?
The Rock.
Who is your hero?
My mum.
Now, it is fucking party night. Saturday night on the GC. All the lads are going to karaoke.
Yeah.
What are you singing?
Fergie, Big Girls Don't Cry.
Fucking track.
Yes.
Mate, that's it. I mean, I'm a proper, I love rock and roll music, Arctic Monkeys. I love Oasis, proper English stuff, also June Rat Skeggs, all that stuff, Aussie stuff. But I'm going that. It's a banger.
That's going.
I don't know if I've just lost all my street cred from whatever I've just said off that.
You've built it up.
Built it up. I'm taking it.
Mate, you've got more points. What was your nickname as a kid?
Here we go. Sorry. So nickname is in high school, started off at Els, then Coxie, then Smelliot, then Smells. I didn't have a smell. Then Smelliot, Smelly Cox. Smelly Cox. I made sure an effort. I wore cologne every single day to not smell. I never smell. It was just Smelly Cox. I'm like, cheers.
How many pillows do you sleep with of an evening?
I have 8 on my bed and I sleep with 2.
8.
Yeah.
Are the other 6 decorative?
They are.
Lovely. How long does it take to get ready in the morning?
Like 30 minutes.
Very good. Who was your first crush?
Celebrity crush would be Billy Piper off Doctor Who.
Ooh.
And my first actual crush in real life.
Yeah, real life. Here we go.
I'd probably say, I don't know, actually. This is hard. I'd probably say Taylor Carey or Gemma Mumford.
Oh, Taylor. Woo.
Yeah. But the girl I'm seeing now, like, tops them all.
She's number 1.
She's
Good
number
save.
one.
Good
No,
save.
I'm just saying, like, you asked the question, like, the girl is she like proper perfection? Like, That was like primary school. This is
this is real.
She's just like, oh my days. Fuck knows what she's doing with me.
Who knows you the best?
My mother.
Excellent. Now, you find a genie inside the bottle. You rub said bottle. Genie pops out. You're granted the 3 wishes.
Yeah.
What are you wishing for?
That's a great question. I definitely want a kick-ass house somewhere, beach house or a penthouse, something like that. Second thing I want is to be a rock star.
Yeah.
Third thing is a professional athlete.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That's dope. Man.
Love it, bro.
You're a fucking legend.
Story.
Thank you.
We can't wait to get you back on.
We'll do it. There's a lot more cool stuff.
We'll do part 2.
Fucking
post. What's coming next?
We'll chuck up all your Instagram handles and shit in the show notes where people want to reach out, and that's incredible, dude.
Yeah, I'll give you some content as well if people want to see like some of the scans and stuff. It's not scary; it just looks like a outline of a person.
Send them through.
Yeah, and I got some cool little transition videos of me attempting to squat.
Yeah,
right.
If you're, last thing is like when you're in hospital, the reason why they said about the legs is that your quads are massive determination if you're strong enough for transplant. So they try and get your legs as strong as they can.
Yeah.
And so you boys be set.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. So they did turn around and said, I know people who have been in the transplant unit who aren't strong enough to do it. And they said, well, then train legs. So message from the whole thing.
There you
message
go.
from the whole thing is leg day is key to, you never know when it's going to come into this. So train legs.
Fuck yeah.
Train legs.
Fucking legend.
Train legs.
Bro, thank you so much. We'll catch up with you again.
Thank you very much.
Fuck yeah, bro.
Cheers, man.
That was sick. Oh.